938 Live. This is Talkback.
Imagine a sea of nearly 30,000 spectators, nearly all decked out in red and white at the National Day Parade, celebrating Singapore's 49th birthday at the Marina Bay floating platform. Definitely a heartwarming scene, that one.
Definitely so.
Yeah. And then hours later, of course, after the spectators go home, there's a different scene. Not a party, because what is really seen are heaps of rubbish. 13 tons of rubbish, to be exact. That's right. 13 tons of rubbish. It's a cold reminder of what we are capable of when we get together. So after the machinery of our military and civil defense forces all leave, another type of heavy machinery needs to move in to clean up the mess left by the army of spectators. Now, is this the way we celebrate our achievements on National Day? We leave 13 tons of rubbish strewn to be cleaned up by others. Do we have a firm handle on the littering problem here in Singapore? Do you think that we should start to shame litterbugs again more publicly? And how far should we go to keep Singapore clean and not just cleaned? Call us on 669-11938 if you have thoughts on this, or you can start leaving us your comments, of course, on Facebook, official 938 Live.
Well, for now, litterbugs, watch out, because the authorities are looking to more public shaming to stop you from leaving your trash anywhere you like. Be prepared to see more corrective work orders, or CWOs, imposed by the courts. Already in the first half of this year, 318 CWOs were issued. This is more than the 261 for the whole of 2013.
My goodness.
So we are leaving more trash behind.
Yep.
So the CWO, for those of you who don't know, is a penalty added to anti-littering laws, and it's been enforced since 1992. It requires litterbugs to pick up trash at places with high human traffic like neighborhood centers. And it's a punishment meted out in lieu of, or sometimes in addition to, fines, which have also doubled in April.
Yes.
Well, there have been various solutions to tackle the littering problem, and lots of them have been thrown up in the media, ranging from being punitive, like splashing litterbugs' faces on websites to shame them, to softer approaches, such as increasing education efforts. Now, the NEA Director General of the Environmental Public Health Division, Mr. Derek Ho, told the Today paper that there is no doubt an element of public shame in being identified as a litterbug and then sentenced by the courts to perform supervised cleaning of public areas under CWOs. And according to the NEA, only 3.3% of offenders who perform CWO in the past 2 years have been caught for littering again. So maybe that works.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if we need to resort to punishment to get people to stop littering, or not even to think about littering.
Exactly.
Why can't it be normal behavior? Anyway,
yes.
Singapore Kindness Movement General Secretary William Wan said that since the CWO is a shaming device, to be more effective, the more public, the better. However, he also noted that CWOs alone will not be effective, as they have other undesirable psychological consequences on offenders. Instead, he noted that CWOs should be stepped up, sustained over a short period so people get the message. But after that, other efforts such as education need to be taken to tackle the problem. So do you agree that shaming litterbugs by CWOs will get them to change? If education fails, what other options do we have to ensure that the littering problem in Singapore does not get any worse than it is? Call us 669-11938, because this problem is yours as well.
Yeah.
Share with us your thoughts on our Facebook page, official 938 Live.
Okay, so bear with me a little bit more. Okay, at a larger level, it's not just about littering, but in Singapore last year there was a whopping total of 7.85 million tons of waste generated. Yeah, 7.85 million tons of waste generated, and by 2030 the total waste generated by all of us is projected to hit 12.3 million tons a year, and that would be an increase of about 57%.
Wow.
Last year, about 61% of all waste in Singapore was recycled, but the recycling rates of households were much lower, just 20%. Also, only 13 and 11% of food and plastic waste, respectively, was recycled. So, while the audience at this year's NDP was encouraged to dispose of their litter with trash bags already provided in their fun packs, were there enough bins or recycling bins conveniently located for the audience to throw their trash? Of course, people expect the bins to be
Right there.
Yes, absolutely, next to them. Should we rethink also the way we pack our food and other products? For example, do we give any thought to the amount of packing or the packaging that we use every time we order to take away a family meal? Can you imagine?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or plastic bags.
Yes. And do businesses also need to rethink how they can, repackage things
Yes.
that leads to less waste? So give us a call on 669-11938. Now, please be a little bit patient because we have first with us on the line Dr. William Wan. He is General Secretary of the Singapore Kindness Movement. William, thank you very much for joining us as always.
Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
morning.
Yeah.
Now, William, I just want to ask you, do you think that the Corrective Work Order or CWO is the most effective method of getting recalcitrant litterbugs to stop their habit?
Well, I think a desperate situation requires desperate measures. Now, the statistics that you mentioned surely would tell us that we are really in a very urgent situation because the problem of littering is not an ordinary problem. It's a health hazard problem. It's got to do with public hygiene and diseases and all that. And I think our people need to understand that, that if we don't take care of it, we are all going to hurt ourselves really bad. So I think that as a deterrent, it is effective. But as I said, the problem is we can't just depend on that alone. I hope that after people understand that, with some intensity of this enforcement, that we will start doing something ourselves. So we need to then focus more on education as well and empowering. Maybe offenders should be empowered to go out with the NEA officers and learn how to enforce and see what it means to litter.
Right.
And also example, we need role modeling. I mean, all of us, including the businesses, have to start doing something and something effective and stop the littering at the very source.
Right. Now, I think a lot of people, I for one, actually, I'm quite in favor of the Corrective Work Order. But, okay, how do we make the CWO public without making, though, a spectacle of the offenders?
I'm afraid you can't because, as Derek said, it is a shaming device. I mean, there is an element of shaming. I mean, in as much as laws are as good as it is enforceable and enforced, so if you want to shame someone, then it is only as good as when it is public and when it is seen, as you said, as a spectacle by people. That is the deterrent effect.
Right. It's sad, though, if we have to go to that extent,
we have
right?
to resort to this, yes.
Okay. William, we have on the line with us, joining us, Vic. Hi, Vic.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for holding on, Vic. So what are your thoughts?
Well, Audrey, I think the answer to your question is the question itself. I think, unfortunately, the most effective way today, unfortunately, the most effective way is to have this corrective for recalcitrant. We, somehow or other, Singapore says that if you look at advantage, is that we have worked well with imposition of fines. They are law-abiding, all right? Therefore, when there is a law, we follow wholesalely, and we don't circumvent the law. But let's say we want to build a culture like what we saw the Japanese fans at the World Cup. Right. So that is something I think Japan took very long to actually build that kind of culture. So like what the guest speaker was saying that, education, role modeling, we have to start, we have to initiate that, but it will take a very, very long time.
But, sorry, Vic, but the thing is, I mean, we've been having these keep Singapore clean campaigns since we were I mean, I think you're not far off from my age. Since we were kids in the 60s,
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what has happened?
What has happened between then and now? Why have we become so lax?
Yeah.
Okay, because not only for litterbugs, but also for every other social orders, social behaviors, so to speak, we find that when we impose something, we enforce something, we work well. Therefore, that becomes a culture. It's innate.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks very much,
Okay,
Vic.
all right.
Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Okay, William. So, what do you think? You agree with with
I
Victor?
was just going to jump in to say that the good news is that 60% of us are actually law-abiding. 30% would do it, if it is convenient and we think that we're not going to get caught. It's less than 10% who are recalcitrant. But the problem with littering is that it doesn't take everyone to make this place dirty. It takes just a few people. And I think we need to deal with the recalcitrant in a very strict manner and enforce the law strictly, because these are the ones who really need to understand the urgency of the problem.
William, I really want to believe that. But, at the National Day Parade, right? I mean, as I said, 13 tons of rubbish left after the parade is
It's incredible.
almost incredible. Okay, just hold it there. And we've got Carla on the line.
Carla.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, good morning to everyone.
You're most
Morning.
welcome. What are your thoughts on this, Carla?
I just want to know what's the rationale of re-shaming people, because that is a bit disturbing to me, because shaming can have two effects. Two effects in the sense that shaming can cause a very traumatic experience for people, that people will see it in a positive side. There are very few of them will move in a positive direction, but the majority will actually dampen their spirit, and then they kind of rejected, and the felt a sense of rejection will happen. So what is the rationale of that we are coming into shaming people in the public? Is there any other alternatives or strategies that we can look into, educating these people, like what the speaker was saying? But then again, I agree with you, it will take time, to educate and role modeling and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's a holistically individual issue in a society where people have to start analyzing, because always we are pointing finger outside. The problem is outside, but the problem might be is actually within ourselves.
Absolutely.
So maybe people lack the skill in understanding or doing some literature review. When I went to do a literature review on this Sean's theory, saying that there's a single loop and double loop. Double loop is going within myself to seek the understanding within myself. Why am I doing rationally, rather than just going a single loop. Single loop is problem is outside. I just fix it. So the fixation is to come within myself by using a double loop theory, whereby we look into ourselves. What is this that I have to transform? That everything will transform outside.
Well, okay. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Carla. What do you think,
What do you think, William?
Well, Carla is perfectly right. That's why I have my ambivalence. There are collateral damages, because when you shame, you are actually going to the core of the person. You're not just saying your act is unacceptable. You're almost saying that you as a person, is bad. But I think that, as I said, desperate times needs desperate measures, because there are still people who would just litter without giving it a second thought. And that's why the kindness movement, our theme is, kindness, a nation of kindness, starts with me. So that's the second look, the second look that Carla is talking about.
Right.
And of course, ideally, over time, we can develop this into a habit, and then it turns into a culture. Then each of us would just take responsibility, and then there won't be any littering. But it will take a long time. But for now, how do you deal with the existing problem? Because if you don't, we are going to be facing a lot of health hazards.
Okay, hold it there, William. We've got Christina holding on. Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hi, morning, everyone.
Good morning. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the corrective work order should not be done only just in public places. It should be done at the place where these people, the offenders, actually live. Because then they are known to the neighborhood there. That will be better than just public places, because public places, people don't know them.
Right, so clean up where you litter.
Yes, then the effect will be better, because then I will recognize it. Oh, so and so is sweeping the floor today because he has littered the place. Better if he's doing it within his block. Every floor he has to go and instead of getting the bangga to clean it that day, he or she should be the one cleaning. I think the deterrent will be better.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so clean up after
Christine.
yourself.
Okay,
really.
William, I know you have to run, but before we let you go, what do you think of what Christina said?
I think when we say public, that's included too. Public means it has to be seen by people. And so obviously, if you litter in your own neighborhood, it is good for your own neighbors to see you. In fact, I would go further, and I would say that, these people ought to be also called into NEA's premises and spend some time to be educated, to learn about, what all this means, so that, they have to spend more time, thinking about these things.
I like your initial, one of your earlier ideas of letting them go out with the NEA officers and to also, I suppose, patrol.
And to experience.
And experience, yeah.
They learn empathy too. They learn empathy about what it takes to clean up and what it takes to enforce.
Absolutely. William, thank you very much for joining us this morning once again. As always, a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You
Thank
too.
you
Bye-bye.
too.
And so we are still going to be taking your calls, of course, after news and sports. So we're talking all about littering and the corrective work orders. I have to paint this picture again. This sea of 30,000 spectators, all decked out in red and white, and everybody proud and saluting our National Day, celebrating our 49th birthday. All a very nice and heartwarming scene. But after that, you know what? the scene that we see after that is completely ugly. 13 tons of rubbish was left behind after the National Day Parade. Can you imagine? That's a cold reminder of what we are capable of doing when we get together. So after the machinery of the military and the civil defense forces all leave, the other heavy machinery has to move in to clean up after the spectators. Oh, what a way to celebrate our 49th birthday. We leave behind. This is supposed to be our people, our nation.
Our Singapore. Our Singapore.
And our rubbish.
It's definitely our rubbish. Shouldn't we clean up after ourselves, I wonder sometimes.
669-11938. Hi, TK. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, morning.
Good morning.
Suggest all these offenders clean at the rubbish dump. And they will smell what is it like. And they will never throw any more rubbish.
Yeah. The old Tampines Phil at Jalan Halus, I've actually been there a couple of times when it was still there. And it is not a great smell, I can tell you.
Yeah, they'll make sure they will never throw any more rubbish.
Now, okay, but the thing is, what do you think about, getting this Singaporeans to have this culture of picking up after ourselves,
First of all, don't throw anything. Is that possible?
The trouble is these people just couldn't care less.
But TK, do you not remember a cleaner Singapore in the past?
Oh yeah, I'm the one who always make sure I find a dustbin to throw any rubbish.
Yeah, when we were younger, Singapore seemed to be cleaner. People didn't seem to throw so much stuff.
Yeah, probably education and more campaign would help better.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, TK, for calling back. Also, because TK called earlier on.
Correct.
We have Chris now on the line. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was there at the parade last Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and I saw many people, including myself and my son. We actually brought the the plastic bag of rubbish, and we actually deposited at a standing rubbish bin, very far distant off. So it's important to know whether the 13 tons of rubbish, whether they were collected at the standing rubbish bin or whether they were collected at the seats, because I noticed many people brought them along with them. Now, number two.
Good point.
If the rubbish bin collected all these 13 tons, then I think the organizer should think about what they should put in the goodies bag, because those rubbish actually came from the goodies bag. Because if you ask me, I would say 90% of the goodies in the goodies bag were meant for the event. So, I mean, they cannot be reused. Unlike, if you put in a souvenir or whatever, then you can bring it back home.
Right.
So I think the organizers should think about this for the next year, so that, if we want to reduce the rubbish bin, the rubbish, then I think we should look at where the need of those things in a goodies bag. Thank you.
Very good point. Thank you very much, Anthony, for that. Yes, I think that is a nice wave out or a shout out to the organizers for next year's 50th anniversary.
I guess, have a think about what goes in.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's not a bad thing, but I'm
still-
sure it's something to think about.
Still, we have to salute you, Chris, for you and your family and the people you know who actually bagged your rubbish.
Anthony.
Was it? No, we haven't spoken
Oh,
with
sorry.
Anthony
Okay,
yet.
yes.
Yeah, Chris.
Yes, Chris.
For bagging your trash
Exactly.
and then
But
bringing
Chris-
it to the bin.
Yeah, but Chris made a point
It's a good point.
that the bins were quite far away.
Quite far away, but should that be a problem?
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't.
Really?
But, okay,
You
but
were
may-
given a bag.
Also, for the organizers, maybe to think about as well.
More bins, yeah? More and bigger bins. All right, now it's Anthony.
Now it's Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
Hi,
Sorry.
Anthony.
Hello, good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning.
Good morning. So, were you also at the National Day Parade, Anthony, by chance? Hi, Anthony. Hello.
Hello.
You're on
Yes.
the air, Anthony.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good
Yes,
morning, Anthony.
speak to us.
Dan here.
Yes,
Yes,
we can
speak
hear
to
you.
us. Mhm.
Am I on the air?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I mean, it is my contention that when someone is has the what you call CWO, that person should have their HDB flats. Rubbish chute locked, so that they will have to bring their rubbish down to the trash can or wherever.
Interesting.
It won't be so easy to dispose of rubbish just down the chute.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much,
That's
Anthony.
my suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Interesting. So,
All right, that's radical.
that's have it. Okay, but nowadays a lot of the flats have a central chute
Yeah,
system.
it's not in your home anyway. You
Yeah.
still have to come out and then down the corridor or
Yeah.
something and then
Absolutely.
throw your rubbish down the chute.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, well, it's maybe in the older flats where actually sometimes there seems to be more rubbish lying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, 669-11938. We have Mr. Tan on the line. Hi, Mr. Tan.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
What I want to say is that we should take a lead from the Koreans and the Japanese. They are really very clean. I've been there and I am so surprised that everybody clears their trays.
Yeah.
At the
Yes.
airport, at the restaurants, and
Yes.
at the hotel as well. So I don't see why we can't be as hygienic after so many years of independence.
In the-
Absolutely.
In the morning.
In the hotels as well, you say?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Really, take a look, and find out how they do it, how they manage it, and how even shopkeepers sweep the road in front of them, and you'll be amazed, and in such a compact area like Tokyo, you don't see any rubbish around.
Yes.
Mr.
That's right.
Tan, is this part of their DNA?
I do not know, I think partly because we have a large percentage of foreign workers here, and they're really dirty in Chinatown, in Little India, and in Geylang as well. I go there quite often, and I just can't avoid them. And you see that the streets are really dirty everywhere. And I pity those cleaners that they just cannot catch up. Despite the fact that they put in a lot of effort.
Okay. Well, thank you.
We should try harder.
Thank you very much. Totally agree,
you.
Mr. Tan. Yes.
Yeah, we should try harder.
669-11938. One thing, though, I mean, the thing is, I don't think there were many foreign workers at the National Day Parade, right? So,
I'm not sure if we should always be blaming someone else.
yeah, okay. Yes. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
You're our last caller for today. How are you? Patrick?
Patrick.
Yes, you're on the air. Hello? Hi, Pat.
Patrick, you're on the air. Are you still there?
I think we've lost.
It's a social pressure. Many years ago,
Yes.
at the hawker center, there was this man in a uniform. He was smoking in queue in front of me, and he threw the cigarette down in front of me. I tapped him on the shoulder, and I asked him, "You Nihonjin desu ka?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you do this in Japan?"
Ah. And? Hello? I think we're having
I
problems
think,
with
yeah,
Pat's
he
line.
might be walking around, and so we're
Yeah.
losing him. The thing about the examples given of the countries by our callers, Japan, for example, or any
Korea.
country for that matter.
Yeah.
If the place was clean to begin with when you arrived, I think chances are you would leave it clean when you leave,
Yes, that's true.
right?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess up the place.
You wouldn't want to mess up the place. You know,
Yeah.
again, I go back to we seem to be cleaner before.
Yeah, but the thing is, you see, one question before we go, I just want to ask, and maybe we can think about this. Is picking up litter necessarily a shameful thing? And in particular, picking up after ourselves, maybe?
No, we should be doing it.
Yeah, because if we are shameful about picking up our own litter, that means what? Are we suggesting that what the cleaners are doing, picking up litter, is a shameful thing?
Absolutely. And we are alluding to that, right? Because the
yeah.
CWO is kind of telling us that we're putting you in this bright orange
Yes.
jacket or something, and then we're sending you out, and it's to shame you.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. This is something we really seriously as a country actually have to think about, because
do.
this is our country. We always stand up for Singapore and do the best we can, and then don't throw rubbish in the trash can.
Yeah, so we should
Throw
do
it
the
around
best
the
we
trash
can.
can.
I've seen that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud. But thank you very much for joining us and for
Yes,
all
thank
your
you.
calls this morning. We're always appreciative of your calls, especially because we know that you do take time to call us here on 669-11938. You can still continue to leave your thoughts on our Facebook official 938 Live.